forget hiring a private investigator to catch someone. I mean, you can still contact us for War of the Roses, but you can skip all that and go straight to intern Squidward because he's saying he is the best private detective that he can catch anyone cheating.
Yes, I am, and I'm very prideful because of this, because the dedication, the hours of detective work, research, social media.
You mean like everything that you don't do for us here on the show?
Yes.
Okay. Just trying to get a better idea.
Yes, through effort in passion, in thought. I realized and discovered that the lady I've thought I've been talking to the past 2 months has actually been cheating on her boyfriend of 5 months with me.
Oh, wait, what now?
This is allegedly.
We're not 100% sure because it's Squid's detective work.
Yes.
So you're the mister.
I'm the mistress. Yes.
Wow.
I am the mistress. Yes.
I didn't see that coming.
So
No.
she never mentioned a boyfriend or anything to you?
No.
Ooh, you're the
not
other.
at all.
You're the other woman.
Yes, I am. I am the other woman.
Have you talked about it with her?
Yes.
And has she confirmed it?
And yes, and I was able to get in touch with said boyfriend, and we set up a sting operation. And put her red-handed in the ass. Undeniable. Shouts out to my dog. And we're planning on getting some beers later, so shouts out to my boy if he's listening right now. We set up a sting operation to where it was undeniable.
Ooh.
So basically, you found out that you've been getting cheated on. Were you technically dating?
No, me and her were, but I thought we were exclusively.
Can we start from the beginning? Because everybody needs to understand exactly what kind of relationship you were in from the beginning.
Yes.
So, for reference, we actually dated one time about maybe half a year back in 2017.
Okay.
We started hanging out again maybe about 2 months ago. We kind of rekindled an old flame and started hanging out again, and that's where we started. Okay. And so for 2 months, we didn't like put a label on it. We never said we're dating, but I thought that we were being exclusive. She didn't want me talking to any other girls. She didn't want me talking to no one else. Okay. Obviously I didn't want her talking to anyone else. And when
y'all were making out and going on dates and
hanging out almost every other day, talking almost every day.
Didn't she bring you breakfast recently?
She did.
Yeah.
She did.
Oh, okay.
She did bring me breakfast one day.
And not us, so that was kind of a red flag.
It was.
On
and
my
that
S list, but
and the funny part is that night was the night of the sting operation.
Oh.
And that night, the night before, she was with homeboy. And she woke up and then got me breakfast after homeboy left her place.
Toxic queen.
And yeah. You know what? I was gonna say that hats off to her. Her ability to allegedly her ability to lie and manipulate to where she was playing both of us.
Wow.
Both of us.
Can you explain
like
how you found out and how you reached out and what the sting operation was exactly about?
Okay, yes. So
this is better than I thought it would be.
It
yes,
is.
There was a few times where I'm saying, so we talked every day, constantly, nonstop. But there was a handful of times where on the weekend or a day or period or two, she would just go ghost.
Yeah.
Completely ghost.
Oh. Okay.
And that's where the suspicions really started to
I think when you have patterns of behavior and they change abruptly and there's especially somebody that communicates a lot.
Yes.
And then they're not saying, hey, I'm going to be in a meeting from this time, and they just don't say anything. That's real suspicious.
Yes.
Did she say anything? Like, how did she explain the ghosting when she finally came back?
So when I would ask her or ask about it, she would say, oh, like, I just really needed to decompress and be by myself. Like, I'm just a little overstimulated. And I tend to give people the benefit of the doubt. And I did.
Oh, yeah.
But I never, like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, she's BSing. Like, she's got to be BSing.
I think that's human nature.
Like on a Saturday, you're decompressing.
I think that's human
Yeah,
nature.
yeah.
Be a little suspicious.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And every time, like, one of our inside jokes we had was that, like, how do I say this? She has this dream job that she's chasing right now.
Okay.
She's going through like training and classes, and she's been very stressed out about it. And I've been like giving her encouragement X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, it's always gonna pan out. And like she's had passing tests she's been worrying about, and I'm like, see, I'm always right? I'm always right. And then this same moment, all my suspicions, when I confronted her, I'm like, Guess who's always
I'm always
right?
right. I told
Like,
you.
every time you lied to me, guess what? I was right.
Did you reach out to her boyfriend first?
Well, initially I confronted her about it like a couple times when my suspicions arose.
Which is it's actually a healthy
Yes.
thing.
Sure,
Is
sure.
if you feel something is off,
You have to
instead of-
talk about
is to say, hey, and give the person an opportunity to say, no, I can see why you think that, but this is not, or to come clean, and then you can deal. Then you can choose at that point, do you want to talk to her anymore or be done?
Right.
Yes.
Because if you don't, I think you can just
It builds-
harbor it. Yeah, you harbor, and
And
then
you could be totally wrong.
Yeah, resentment begins, and you're for no reason.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, for an example, like one of the times I confronted her and asked her, and she denied it, and turns out blatantly lying, was when there was a period where she went to the beach. She told me, hey, like, I know it's going to suck. I won't be able to see you for 3 days. I'm going to the beach. She said she was going with like some family friends, and I'm like, okay. But then again, the same thing, almost ghost the entire time. And I came to the conclusion just by myself, my gut feeling. I'm like, she's clearly hanging out with somebody. And so when we first started hanging out, she had a separate job at a bar. And when we started talking, I was like, are you seeing anyone? She's like, well, no, I'm not. And then I saw this name pop up on her phone one day, and she was like, oh, well, this guy, we had a little fling for a month or two while I was at the bar, and he just hits me up all the time, and he's just like psycho about me, and he just always hits me up. And so I saw this man's name, and obviously I'm not
Full
going to
name or first name?
it's just first name. So
Okay.
I'm not
Don't
gonna
say it.
I'm not going to say this man's name, but I'm going to just call him the boyfriend. I saw the boyfriend's name, and I took mental note of the boyfriend's
Of
name.
course.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah,
so
if you're dating someone and guys' names pop up on their phone, and vice versa,
Oh, yeah.
and you see a girl's name pop up on the phone, you're like, who's that?
yeah. So I just took a mental note when she denied. I'm like, let me put that, back in the database in case I need it. And so when she went to the beach and was ghosting me, I'm like, clearly you're with boyfriend, boyfriend name. And obviously, she denied it. And well, initially I blocked her on everything because I was convinced. I didn't have definite proof, but I was convinced.
Yeah.
And I blocked her on everything but TikTok. I forgot to block her on TikTok.
Everyone forgets
the
TikTok.
TikTok.
Everyone forgets to block on TikTok.
Yes. And so
Block the talk.
And so there was one day, and so after I guess she realized I had blocked her, she sent me like multiple like paragraphs, asking why I blocked her, and I explained to her like, I don't believe you. I think you're lying. You're clearly with someone. You're doing things to me I would never do to you. And she turns it around like you. And I admitted that I don't have definite proof, but I just know I'm trusting my instincts and my gut. And she turns around, saying how much she cares about me, how much she likes me in her life, how she doesn't want to like do life without me, X, Y, and Z.
Oh, that's deep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And saying that, like you admitted that you don't have definite proof. You're just, making things up in your head. Like the definition of gaslighting.
Yeah, that is
You're being
gaslighting.
distorting your reality. Yep.
Yes.
Yes. And so that's like the
Did
best
she go
example.
to the Jason Goodman School of Gaslighting?
No, yeah, I think
It's pretty good.
She might be like, she could be like Jason Goodman sensei, probably. like,
I think I love you. I'm not sure, but I've never felt this way.
Yes.
But anybody else?
And so right now she is, pursuing this dream job of hers, and she's staying at a friend's place because the friend's place is closer to where she's taking these classes at every day. She goes there every day. And so I was supposed to come over and stay with her one evening, and then randomly backed out and then went ghost again, and I didn't hear from her at all.
Oh.
Like she maybe stopped texting me around like 4 in the afternoon.
That's an early ghost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
early ghost. And so I was like, you know what? I was like, someone clearly has to be staying there. So I was like, this boyfriend name I had stalked in the back of my brain. I'm like, let's go do some research on her social media.
Oh, I love
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Oh, I love
Yes.
We've all done it.
Uh-huh. Yes.
We've
So,
all done
I'm
it.
going back through our messages, I'm going back, through our Snapchat conversations, going searching through everything. And I'm like, okay. I go to her Instagram. I go to her following, right? Her following. I type in boyfriend's name, right?
Just the first. You only had first name.
All I had was first
So you
name.
narrowed it down.
Yes. And it's a very basic name.
Oh,
Okay,
that's
so
the
like, you knew how to
worst.
spell
very
it, though.
common. I knew how to spell it. Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the worst when it's like Joe. You're like, okay, there's gonna be 50 of them, and you have
Yes. And
Yeah.
so I typed in the name, and obviously a good amount of results popped up.
Uh-huh.
And so I start going through each one. And like I said,
We've all done it.
yes. And like, I didn't want to say this out loud. And I admitted to her this was what I was doing because I'm like, if I'm not right, I sound insane.
Yeah.
But I turned out to be right.
But
and
you're
I'm
trying
a
to
freaking
protect
genius.
yourself too.
Yes, and
Yes.
everybody has done it,
We
so
do
don't
it.
feel bad about yourself.
And so I started looking at all
Like
the
who likes her
boyfriends'
post,
names.
if you're liking that post.
Yes,
Yeah.
and so
Damn,
what I
you went
did
deep.
is that I went through the names, and there was one particular profile where, like I said, she used to work at a bar. She said she met this man at the bar, and at the time, she ran the bar's social media account, the Instagram. So the Instagram account followed me, and there was only one boyfriend name that was followed by the bar
There it is.
and her.
Well done,
Yeah.
Squid.
Okay, yes.
Yes.
Yes. And so
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, when I had initially blocked her when I thought she was at the beach with said man, she came back and posted on Snapchat. Her friend's place she's staying at, he's a gay guy, and when she came back, she didn't let me know, and so I messaged her. I'm like, "You're just gonna come back and not say nothing?" She's like, "Oh, I'm meeting up with all like my gay friends, and I met with them, hang out with them, like great people. And I think in her mind, she didn't realize what I realized. Boyfriend, I knew what boyfriend looked like now, right?
Oh.
And she didn't realize that, and so she posted a picture. I know two of her friends, like they're a couple, and then he was on the end, and I'm pretty sure in her mind she's
Dang,
thinking,
that's
"Oh,
ballsy.
he'll just think it's
Those
another
are one
gay
of my
friend."
gay friends.
Yes.
Sure.
Friends. Oh.
Yes, and so I call her out on it.
Boy, it's tiring to be deceitful.
It is.
Yes.
It's a lot of work.
I call her out on it. She says, "Oh, like he just happened to be at the same bar all of we were, and just apologizing X, Y, and Z." And so I'm like, okay, I gotta reach out to this man. I gotta hear it from the
Now,
horse's
that's
mouth.
the part. That's kind of where I draw the line.
Yeah.
But I get it. I do get it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Well, I like
actually,
it.
no, no, because it's not fair to him that that's going
Exactly.
on.
Because it's
Okay.
happening. But,
Yeah, that's true.
at this point, you don't know if
But
he
you don't
knows.
know.
At this point, I think maybe he's the mistress.
Sure.
But little
yeah.
I know I
Okay.
am.
Okay,
you know?
fair enough.
he's
Because that's
the-
what we were thinking.
This
That's
guy
true.
is actually a boyfriend.
In
he's
his
the main
mind, he
man.
thought so. In his mind, he thought so.
Okay.
So I send this man a message on Instagram, and I like word it as nicely as I can. I'm like, "Hey man, I'm just reaching out to discuss said girl, and I'm coming with you with no anger, no hostility at all whatsoever. But from my gut and intuition and connecting the dots, I think she's probably lying to me about the extent of y'all's relationship, and I believe she's lying to you about the extent of ours." And I was like, "If you're willing to talk, I'd love to figure this out." And I was like, and if I'm wrong, my apologies.
damn.
for what-"
Because
I
this
got
guy
excited.
technically could be hostile now to you. Like, what are
Yeah,
you doing?
exactly.
sure.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
homie, like I think he lifts a lot. He's like 3 times my size. So if he wanted to link up, like I'm done. Like
Yeah.
the only way I'm surviving is with pepper spray or a gun. That's
Yeah.
the only way.
I was-
Like
yeah.
those
You
twig
made it-
legs of
Yeah,
yours.
you made it clear that you had no idea.
Right.
No
At
idea.
first. Like that.
You're
you
not
thought,
accusing him of doing
Oh
something.
no,
yeah,
nothing at all. I was like, hey,
I come in peace.
yeah, I come in 100% peace. I'm not coming at you in an angry way at all. And luckily, he reciprocates the energy.
Okay.
And like immediately, he's like, how long have y'all been hanging out? Well, first he was a little angry.
Let me ask you: did it seem like he was surprised?
Oh,
or
100%, 1,000%,
Yeah.
1,000%. Because he, as we talked, he had his suspicions about me.
Oh.
And so initially I could tell he's a little angry. He just straight off the bat, his first message back is, "How long have y'all been hanging out? How long have y'all been hooking up?" And I'm just answering his questions, and I was like, "What about y'all?" So I'm answering all of his questions. He's asking about us, and I'm like, "So are y'all a thing? Do y'all hanging out?" He's like, "Well, yeah, I thought we've been dating the past 5 months, and she practically lives at my house. I see her every day, almost every day."
Oh
And
my gosh.
So me and so like initially, you know, it hurt. It hurt
Yes.
getting that confirmation.
Yeah, that hurts me for you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it hurt. And
And
then
for the other guy.
yeah,
Yes.
and for him too.
It's bad for both, but like she's like living at his house.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes. And so I'm like, initially my plan was, if this man says yes, I hope he's civil and like cool, and we can set her up into, you know,
Oh yes.
get her
The setup.
yes.
Ooh, yes.
And so luckily we're going back and forth, and he's like, "Yo," he was like, "I appreciate you reaching out, but don't say a word to her." And I'm like, "Thank you. We're on the same page. I'm not gonna say a word." And so we both are contacting her throughout the day. And we are being as nice as we possibly can. I'm very supportive in everything in general, but I'm going over the top, fluffing her feathers the best I can.
You're the best fluffer.
Yeah, the best in the world.
We've heard that about you.
We have.
Yes. And so we're like, okay, so we got to set this up tonight. We're doing this tonight. And so, like I said, she's staying at her friend's house for these trainings she's taking. And we figured out she's been rotating us in and out. She'll say that, oh, I come over tonight, but, tomorrow I need to study, just be alone. Oh. And then she's been rotating us in and out day by day.
She's very organized.
Might fail.
Very
she has no time to study.
Yeah.
Yeah, very organized. Yeah.
That's true. When's she doing that?
We were discussing that, how, during this process of her, chasing her dream job, she's been venting to both of us how stressed out she is and everything. And we're like,
yeah, she's stressed
because
she's playing two dudes.
You're saying you're stressed out about the job while you're juggling both of us doing this, honestly, genius scheme and manipulation. Like, no wonder you're so exhausted all the time.
Yeah.
But so we're like, okay, let's do it tonight. And so initially I asked her to come over that night. And she's like, no, I want to be alone. And of course, that's when he's like, oh, I'm supposed to come over tonight. And I was like, what did she tell you Saturday? And he's like, oh, that she wanted to be alone. I was like, well, I was there Saturday.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Gosh.
And so we're like, he's like,
man, I'm
all
so
right.
glad. Yeah.
Yes. And so he's like, all right, tonight when I get off work, I'm going over there, and you're gonna come too, and we're going to,
show up together.
Show up together, but separate. He was gonna walk in. So okay, we want to show up at the same time, same place, and catch her red-handed. That was the plan. And so clearly, he was, the plan is for him to walk in first, because clearly he's obviously it hurt me, but I know he was way more invested.
Way more time.
Way more time. I mean, and the crazy part is he's talking about, they're talking about thoughts of marriage, about him moving his career to go where she goes.
Oh boy.
And the craziest part is they have talked about thoughts of children.
Man.
Even me and her had messages of us talking about maybe one day, because we were getting along together so well, almost the same messages.
If everything continues to work out, I could see maybe.
I could see us having a kid one day. And so he's asking
because you don't use protection also.
What?
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
I just
definitely have an
someday.
Any day.
Someday she does. No, he did. No, you don't.
On the Lord's Day.
On days that end in X, I use protection. But no, so I could just tell.
Yeah, he was hurt.
He's much more hurt. So I'm like, okay. He's like, yo, I'm gonna go there first, and she thinks I'm coming over, so let me walk in there.
This is the boyfriend.
The boyfriend. Boyfriend's gonna walk in there, just be super nice, and then I sent him a bunch of screenshots of all our conversations, and he's gonna be like, hey, I saw a picture that made me think of you today, because up to this point we're both being super nice to her,
Yeah.
And so he's like, once I do that, show her the picture. He was like, I'm grabbing my stuff. I'm coming out, and I was like, I'm going to be in my car right out front the door, because the way that it's an apartment complex and the way it's set up, the parking lot and the door is right there. So I am literally 10 feet from the door. I'm parked sideways.
In that gold Pontiac.
With the lay around the mirror.
Yes,
you're ready.
Can't be missed.
Yes. And so while her and I were talking, we would send songs back and forth, and there was this one love song we both liked a lot.
God,
we played
you had
back and forth.
Yeah.
And so I was like, bro, when you walk out, I'm going to be sitting right there. I'm going to be I can't say his name, but I'm like, my dog, let's go get some beers, dog, with the windows down blaring that song that is quote unquote our song. You know what I mean? Yes.
So mature, I love it.
Yes. And we're like,
you trolling on the way out.
And so this man, when he got off work, we're sending voice messages back and forth nonstop, and so
I think y'all gonna hook up.
Oh wait, no, damn near we're boys now. And
does he want to come on the boat?
I'll ask him. Yeah,
he could be a two bro.
Yeah, two bros. And so on his way to her place after he got off work, we both agreed. Initially, we were hurt. But at this point, we were so excited. We were pumped. Sending voice messages back and forth, just kind of laughing. Yeah. There was one point where, I guess, I'm kind of filling in for Matt this week, and Matt has his own room. And there's we were messaging back and forth. And there was a point where I was jumping up and down. I'm like, we're going to get this. We're going to get her. We're going to get her. Let's go. We were beyond hype and pumped for it. And so it goes down. He gets there. He's like, yo, I'm walking in. You can pull up now. And the craziest part, right? So he's like, yo, my ETA is 9:29. She sends me a text at 9:25, naughty night, heart, puts her notifications on silent. So when homie pulls up, my messages will never show up on the phone. And I screenshot this to him, and we were like, she's maniacal and evil. It's genius.
She's good at it, man.
Yeah, she really is. She really is.
This ain't the first time.
No,
You're not that good if you've never done. Yeah, if you're being deceitful.
She's a professional.
Allegedly.
Yes, allegedly. And so he gets there. I pull up. And so at this point, I am just anxiously waiting, letting him, air his grievances, get all the stuff off his chest. So I get there at like 10 o'clock, so I'm sitting there at 10 o'clock.
You're usually late anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But I mean, he got there. He's like, I just want to talk to her, be casual for a little bit, and then, address everything. And then so I'm sitting there, like an hour goes by.
Nothing.
Ooh.
And I shoot him a message. Like another 30 minutes goes by. It's like 11:30. I'm sitting there.
And you're sitting there for an hour and a half?
Oh yeah. I am awake.
In the parking lot?
Yes. I'm just have my car turned on. Like eventually I turn my car off.
You run out of gas.
Yeah.
Your phone's about to die.
Yeah. I'm just chilling. I'm like, I can do this all night. Because when he got there, he messaged me. He's like, yo, like, is there a certain time
Did he have to get one more in before?
Well, no. Initially, that was his plan. But then he was like, I'm gonna get one more in, and then I'm gonna show the picture and just get out. I'm like, you do you, dog.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, do you, dog. But when he got there, he's like, I'm so sick, I can't stand her. I can't look at her face. Please just get here as soon as you can. I'm like, okay. So at this point, an hour and a half rolls by, and I'm like, wait, maybe that is what he's doing. But so I shoot him a message. I'm like, so we're messaging through Instagram. I shoot him a message, just a question mark. He's like, my bad, man, caught up talking. And so give it another 30 minutes. It's 12 at this point. I'm still waiting.
God.
You have to be at work the next day.
Oh, yeah. I slept like 2.5 hours that night. I was exhausted yesterday coming in. So like 12 o'clock rolls around. He's not messaging back. And I'm like, okay. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just leave, because let him do whatever he's doing. I'm going to let him leave. And so but I was like, you know what? I'm going to leave a note on her windshield. Just so you know, because I got to get some. I was a little bummed out that I didn't see her face.
Control, yeah.
To see her face when it happened. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to, leave my mark and let her know that I was still here.
Mark my territory.
Yes. And so, like, while we were talking, like, we had some, like, little inside jokes, right? There was one time where, like, we were, like, looking at some planes, and she mispronounced it as plume. Like La Plume, so we would always joke around like
it just came out wrong.
Like look at that plume because it's stupid and like
right,
funny.
And that's what you do.
Stupid, funny, goofy, like look at the plume. And so I wrote on one note, I was like, thank you so much. Like underline the so 3 times. I said you are the best. Underline best 3 times. And then I was like, I hope your dreams and passions take off like a plume. and then so back to the thing how I said how I always supported her, and every time she doubted herself, I proved her that she was wrong, and she like our thing was that I'm always right. I'm always right. I put on another note, I'm always right with the winky face, and put both of those under her windshield wiper.
Yeah.
Not the winky face.
Yes, and I took a picture for reference. If you guys,
we believe you.
Yeah, okay. And
so what happened with the guy?
Yeah, so the next morning he messaged me. He's like, "Yo, man," he was like, "Oh," and while I was putting the notes on there, like her car was parked right in front of the door, so I kind of like leaned over a little bit, and I hear a lot of like yelling and talking. So I'm like, okay, they're clearly getting into it. So I'm like, I'm definitely gonna leave now because I have no idea when they're gonna come out. And so that's why the homie's not even messaging me back. And so I leave, and he's like messages me in the morning. He's like, yo, sorry, man. I didn't leave till like 2 a.m., but thank you so much. You were truly a king. City boys are up 1,000. I'm like, let's go.
So did he explain everything? And
yes, he explained everything.
But he never knew, never knew that you were outside of the apartment?
Not.
She does now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, the next morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in that moment, no.
Have you talked to her since?
No. I have not. And remember this morning, Jared, off air, I said you're gonna love me. Okay, so there was one point while we were talking.
Please tell me you didn't bring our show into it.
No.
Okay, thank God.
No. There was one point while we were talking that she had a big falling out with her lifelong best friend since they were 3 years old. And there was one point while we were talking where her best friend called me on Instagram one night, and I think it was either out of spite to try to get at her, or it was to contact her through me. But regardless, that like enraged her and enraged
Oh, the fact
said
that
girl
you
I'm
could be
talking-
talking to somebody else. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was enraged her. She was like, "How dare she hit you up? She's trying to hook up with you." And she was like, "The thought of you being with someone else already makes me sick, but the thought of you being with her makes my blood boil." And so I was like, "Time to hit slide in the DMs."
That's what I'm talking about.
And all I gotta say is I didn't
My
sleep
man.
at home last night, my dog.
No way. You were there? You went to her best friend's house?
You did?
Yeah.
You did?
Oh, my God.
Golly.
Is your rug burn bigger?
What? No, it's no bigger. No, it was a nice, comfortable bed.
Whoa.
So that was. I'm like, let's go. And like,
Yeah.
I was like thinking, I'm like, there was a metaphor, right? Me and Jared, the toxic kings, right?
Yeah.
It's like, here I am, this toxic king.
Kind of leave me out at this
And-
point. But
okay,
yeah.
yeah.
You're too far in. That reaction right there was
No,
I think you
that's
for a
what
minute.
She deserves that.
She does.
She deserves.
She does.
Yeah.
What you're saying is true.
Your reaction
Every bit of that.
it was insane for the man who is from the Latter-day Saints.
Right.
No,
Right.
Okay.
no, I
But
believe in
she
justice.
does
It's
she
very
does
fun
deserve
calling
that.
Jared a fellow toxic king because it's fun. It's a joke. We like to say it.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, you're right.
And so, I was like the metaphor I was telling some of my friends, like I was a toxic king and she's clearly a toxic queen.
For sure.
And she had my guard down. I was sitting in my toxic king throne. She was massaging my shoulders. I took my crown, put it on the little side table on the pillow, making me feel good. Meanwhile, I had my eyes closed. Meanwhile, she's dropping poison in my cup.
I don't even know what you're saying
in
right
your
now.
goblet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
What's
my
happening?
goblet.
This
In my
part's a
goblet.
little
This
bit-
is
And-
overboard.
but
You've seen Game of Thrones. Who gets paid?
yeah. So, but the thing is, she didn't mix up the poison well enough when it got to my nose.
That's right.
So I smelled it and smacked it out of my hand. I'm like, oh, to the guillotine.
He's off the deep end at this point. They're in their own toxic king world. I don't get
We
it.
can continue
I
on
was
there.
trying to paint a picture.
No,
but
I got you, man. I feel you on that. So, wow.
She got what she deserved, allegedly.
Yeah.
yes,
That
and
is insane.
If you need me if you have your doubts and the gut feeling, let me
Send
know.
Squid. He'll go through your Instagram for you.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Well, that is a saying as old as time. You have to trust your gut.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be
or
it could-
women's intuition or whatever.
Yeah, sure. And it can be definitely wrong sometimes because things can look a certain way, but I think you tried to give her many opportunities to come clean and she didn't.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so then you had to do a stakeout and all sorts of crazy
And
stuff.
she's just on to the next, probably.
Well, she's lost 2 guys, sounds like.
Yeah.
Now,
she's
is there
probably
any
pretty-
chance that she comes back begging you and I'm a new girl?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
You can't do that to the
And-
other dude.
No.
Oh no, and we're both on the same page. We're like,
That's what's up.
yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Squid. It's better than I thought it would be.
Thank
Yeah.
you. And
It
one
is.
last toxic king statement. The night I got the rug burn on my knee was when I had I was pretty confident he was there. She saw me the next day when I brought her breakfast. She asked what it was. I said I tripped and fell on steps. So if you're listening, guess what? It ain't from tripping and falling on steps.
It's from illicit one night stand.